5.
Invocation.
Brian.
Yes, sir. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for this time of fellowship, Lord. We just ask that you bless this council, bless the Cherokee Nation, Lord, and bless our united nation, Lord. We just ask that you be with the people, pour in your wisdom, pour in your guidance, Lord, and just be with us always. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yes, sir. Once again, all those that were just involved in the election, I'll leave you know if you want to be a part of the committee. Rex Jordan.
Here.
E.O. Smith.
Here. Yes.
Bill England.
Money.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Joe Byrd.
Yes.
Sean Crittenden.
Name.
Mike Dobbins.
Here. Yes.
Frankie Hargis.
Present, yes.
Wanda Hatfield.
Aye.
Dick Lay.
Honey.
Mike Shambaugh.
Here. Yes.
Mary Bakershaw.
Present, yes.
Janice Taylor.
Here, yes.
Victoria Vesquez.
Ani, Hawa.
David Walkingstick. Brian Warner. We do have a quorum.
Need a motion for approved minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Management Resources, Bruce Davis.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Bruce.
I'd like to welcome the new council members. Congratulations. So you have our reports and try to answer any questions that you might have. Rex, if you don't mind, before we get started, I'll introduce some people behind me.
Sure.
Ginger Reeves, Real Estate Services. G.V. Gulliger, Natural Resources. Tom Elkins, Environmental. I have two people that's not here, David Moore, who's over Planning and Development, and Taylor Alstonay, who's over all of our facilities. So that's basically our crew.
You got a good one.
Thank you.
Any questions for Bruce? It's your lucky day.
All right.
Bruce, I have
Okay, okay, Joe.
Get out here.
I was looking at your grounds maintenance that you do.
Yes, sir.
You're really stretched out there.
Yes, sir.
And at any given time, we ask you to go take care of a, cemetery or take care of some elderly out there with a tree or so forth.
Right.
How's your equipment holding up?
Well, we haven't bought any new equipment in several years, Joe, so it's getting wore out. GV and I talked about some new equipment the other day and trying to look at our budgets to see if we might be able to buy something, in this fiscal year, and it doesn't look like we'll be able to. But we're managing, Joe, but we could sure use some different equipment if we could get some, like a road grader, for example. I know we don't have one, and with all the washouts that we've had,
Sure.
and all the rain, we've been using our Bobcats and our backhoes to try to manage. But like if we had a road grader, and it wouldn't have to be just a good road grader would really help. So we're always looking to try to upgrade our equipment line. So that would be good for us.
Why don't you get a price on a road grader without us making any commitment? At least it'd be good to know if we ran into some money or somebody did a grant, maybe that's a possibility that we would assist you in that, okay?
That'd be
'Cause
great.
I know you guys are much needed, and we utilize your services, and most of the time, it's not in your budget, but you do it anyway. We appreciate that.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions? Carl?
Bruce, I know I talked about pine trees. Is the pine forest under you yet, or is it moved to Sarah yet?
It's under Sarah.
Okay, so that is moved.
Yes.
All right, I'll ask her.
Okay. Yes.
I was going to mention too, Bruce, all the good folks here is good about emailing. I'm not his agent or anything, but I guarantee you that Joe Bean right there, to the new council folks, comes to land, different things. He's a whole lot of help, as well as Ginger, of course, but he'll be your friend when it comes to land issues. Old Joe Bean there too. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Bruce.
You bet. Thank you.
Ginger Brown Reeves.
Good afternoon. I believe you have my report in front of you. I haven't had an opportunity to meet all the new members, but welcome to Cherokee Nation. If you have any questions on any of my report, I'll be happy to address them.
Any questions for Ginger?
I don't, this is just a suggestion. I'm not a new council member. I kind of know what you do, Ginger, but it may be nice if you just explain what your office does there.
I have a PowerPoint scheduled for you on Thursday.
Okay, so they're going to do that. Okay.
Uh-huh. And at that time, I'll give you all of Joel Bean's contact information.
Ginger, you know how I feel about you now.
I know.
Any other
But I was
questions?
serious.
Thank you,
But yes,
Ginger.
we do have something to put together.
Environmental, Tom Elkins.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Tom.
I'll be happy to provide Joel's number too. I'd like to echo Mr. Davis and Ms. Reeves. Welcome to the new council members. I'm sorry I haven't been around to speak to you yet, but I'm sure we'll engage somehow or another. You have our report, and if you look at the first page of it, if you have just a moment, we try to keep a running total of some of the things that we can put numbers to. And some things we're well over 100% of the goal that we've done. Some of the other things we're not quite where you might think our fiscal year is right now. And some of that tends to be because we work generally almost 100%, not quite, but almost 100% for other programs. In that we do lead-based paint for the Housing Authority, and we do generally radon for other groups, but and energy audits, we do that for the Housing Authority too. So we get those, we do those as we receive requests from those other entities and those other groups. And then the last thing, it's not on our report this month, but is and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about that, and I try to bring this up every time about this year, is the Cherokee Nation holiday. And not all of our group works at the fishing day, the Jason Christie fishing day, but I got to tell you, and if some of you have been there, you probably realize that is one of the best, if not the best, event at the holiday. You know, our young kids anymore, they just don't get to go out fishing. And anytime they can get out there, it's amazing. I mean, if this group of desks was the pond, these kids are shoulder to shoulder throwing hooks out there, and every year I admonish them, be careful, because, you know, when I was a kid, I'd get a hook everywhere. And, you know, I don't remember the last time we had a kid with a hook in their ear or in their finger or something. And they all have a good time. And, you know, Mr. Christie, he gets his, Lou's is his sponsor. He gave us 600 poles to give out last year. It seems like there were 300 or so, maybe might have been 600 tackle boxes to go with that. And then with the budget that's given for this, now the fishing derby is under the Dale Glory that handles the hunting and fishing, and David Justice with Geodata, they're handling it now, but it's the same story. The same people work it, and it is just, in my opinion, the best event, I guess, besides the State of the Nation. Just
gotta say that.
had to get that in there. But I know if you have time to come see that, bring your kids, grandkids, they'll enjoy it. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Denise.
I have a question about your ozone sensors.
Yes, ma'am.
You say you've got them at Bonita Clinic and at the Pryor site. Can
Yes.
you, is that an industrial park?
It is. It's just at that Housing Authority area right over there. It's on their property.
Okay.
And, you know, the ozone that we get, we generally don't create a lot of ozone in the Cherokee Nation. We believe most of it's transport from Tulsa and Oklahoma City area. And it impacts us. So that's an issue.
Well, I'm glad you're doing that. I'm curious to know, because of the industrial district that's out there, there's been
Absolutely.
talk for years about, our air quality isn't that good and all that stuff. So I'm glad you're monitoring.
Now, I
that.
will say this, ma'am, and I don't mean to elaborate and take too much of your time, but over the last 15, 20 years, air quality in the United States has gotten better.
Oh, yeah.
Is it great? There are issues. But, when there's high ozone issues, if we have an ozone alert in Tulsa, that's an issue. I mean, people with respiratory issues, young children, elderly folks, me. Yeah, those are times that you really need to watch that. Has it gotten better? Absolutely. Our folks, well, all the folks do really well in that. But that is one of the premier programs that we have, and we've had it for quite a while. And EPA just really, they like it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Tom, I have a question. I'm not sure if you're the correct person I should be asking.
I think it's Joel.
Sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, do we have a recycling program here?
We do and we don't. During the stimulus time, we built a recycling facility just on that side of we call it the FRB, the finance building. And the Cherokee Nation has been really good in recycling cardboard and paper. And we built that recycling facility with those funds, and we bought some equipment for it, and we've gotten even better. Have we got where we want to be? Absolutely not. But Miss Hill, Secretary Hill, who I work for, has really been putting in initiatives on that to where we're trying to get more plastics, aluminum, and things that you'd have to really sell in bulk. And so she's working on that. We've talked with other counterparts in other tribes and things to try to get better at that. See some of because the markets fluctuate so much on some of that. The profit, or just even breaking even is really difficult on some of that. But they're getting better, I can say that.
Are we talking about all our facilities, the Hard Rock, the...
Well, the Hard Rock on their own, they recycle pretty well. And the health group, because they have so many outlying facilities, they've done the same thing without like the regular infrastructure of the Cherokee Nation, both of those entities. So they do pretty good now. I know that we've talked with both of those entities and the group here, all the groups here, Bruce's group and everybody, and I know we're trying to work towards that where we become one integrated group. It's just not to the point we would like it to be. But we're getting there.
We're Cherokees. This is our land, this is our culture, and I feel it's our responsibility to take care of it and to
Absolutely.
pass that on. And I would appreciate any endeavors you can to see to it that we make it stronger.
Oh, absolutely, yes, ma'am. The bad thing of this, and please, it's not an excuse by any means. Probably 85% of the money, maybe a little bit more than that, it just depends, of the money that the environmental programs uses is federal funding. Probably more than that. I just don't have a firm number off the top of my head. And that money is earmarked so specific. I mean, like the clean air money, that is for those air shelters. It can't be for what we would like to do. Some of that air money could be used for indoor air, but because, EPA has it earmarked certain ways, we can't use it for that. The water money that we have, the clean water money, we get so little of it compared to what we can do. What we do, we look at the state and the other federal agencies, and we see the data gaps and areas that we think Cherokee fishermen and people that recreate in those waters, we look at the data gaps and we think, where can we best spend that money to get the best bang for our buck? And our data, the data that we collect, goes right into all the federal databases. So if you're looking at a federal water database, our data's in there. If you look at the air databases, our data's in there. So what we get, we do pretty good with.
I just can't help but think we could make money on our recycling. With all the businesses that we have and we're involved with.
Certainly economies of scale help. The more you do, the cheaper you can do it, or the better you can get at it. And we're getting towards that. Like I say, the Hard Rock and Cherokee Nation businesses as a whole, they recycle. The health group, because they've got such an infrastructure, they recycle. It's just we don't all do it as well as we could together. I'm not saying we're not working towards that. We are, certainly. It's just we're not quite where we want to be at with that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yes, talking about recycling, Counselor Buzzer and I attended a session there at Intertribal a couple of years ago. And they were taking all the foods, the wasted foods at our restaurants, resorts, and the machine was like $30,000. And they were recycling it for pets.
Mm.
And it was quite a venture. It
Absolutely.
didn't really seem that sophisticated. We saw it, it looked good, and we presented it. No one really ever got excited about it. And also, if you remember a few months ago, just here in the council, the money that we spent on plastic, I said, why don't we do without plastic for a few months and see how much we can cut down? And it's got to start at home, like Councilor Shaw here said. We got to take the lead.
Absolutely.
On Stick Ross Mountain, Coffee Hollow Road, every so often there's a homeless guy that walks up and down that road with the pickup, and he's always picking trash up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any of us. Tahlequah, this area here, the capital, was voted one of the best small towns, one of the best small top 50 at one time.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think it's because of our environment. It's because of the culture that we have here and what he had to offer, small town, university, all of that. We do need to do a better job environmentally. We want someone else to do it. We have to start in our own house first.
Chief Baker just signed an executive order on styrofoam, or that's a brand name. It's that type of material,
Yeah.
about not using that at the Cherokee Nation. And that's one of the best things, one of the low-hanging fruits, as it were, that we could do. I mean,
Sure.
that stuff just does not biodegrade. And, it's so easy to use it because it's real effective. You get a coffee cup, we buy these cornstarch cups because they're biodegradable. They'll degrade in 10 years or less. But you grab a cup of coffee and it burns your hands.
Yeah.
You use styrofoam and it keeps it good and hot, and and we buy those cornstarch plasticware. They're more money, and we try to get rid of them. But even if they're landfilled, they break down much easier. It costs more money. So
Okay.
we try to encourage that when we can.
Thank you,
Any
Mr.
other
Chair.
questions? Thank you, Tom.
Thank you so much, sir.
Secretary of Natural Resources, Sarah Hill.
I'm not Sarah, but she asked me to, she had something that she could not get out of this afternoon. She asked me to take any questions and relay those back to her. She'd be happy to bring that. If you need a response to her or to you directly, she can do that or bring it back to the next resource committee.
Any questions? Harley?
I want to know about a pine forest.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Time for us.
You've got 15,000 acres, just down there doing nothing.
Yes, sir.
The other thing, she's taking the program about, I call it ACS, for Agriculture Program. I wonder where that is. Start making some recommendations on that. The grant that Bruce Davis' program had it for a month, and then went over to Sarah's.
I'll certainly ask her about it.
Stacy West?
Yes, thank you. Before you get away, Tom, on page 17 of your report.
17?
Cherokee Nation, page 17.
There's a,
Thought I had 4 pages.
I'll just tell you. I was wondering what this is. The staff worked with Cherokee Nation Real Estate Services staff on the Craig County site. Staff conducted a site inspection, and this project is a fee to trust phase 1. I'm just wondering what,
Is this
it might be genders.
the last part? F?
Well, it's on the page that starts at Tar Creek,
Oh, okay.
so it's a,
That's your ranch, Victoria.
no, it's not. I can assure you, nobody comes up far up.
Get Tom to get rid of the goats.
Yeah. I was just wondering what this is. Is that housing? Is it our houses that are being built, or?
No. I don't know the exact site, because a lot of times we don't get a name that they're going to use for this, but this is, I'll just, go ahead. Or Joel, or, Go right ahead.
That's the 180 acres that we will be applying feeder trust in Kelly Ranch.
Oh,
They
okay,
call it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's
I
something,
wasn't aware.
sometimes we don't, that name doesn't convey to the next
I was just curious. Thank you
group,
very
yeah.
much.
Certainly.
Any other questions?
Hey, Tom, I was gonna ask you, do airplanes affect the environment at all?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the carbon and the different thing, carbon
There's a
footprint.
huge footprint with flying somewhere, carbon footprint. And so, you know, talk economies of scale. If 250 people get in a large plane and go somewhere, is it less of a carbon footprint than if 250 people jump in an individual car and drive somewhere? I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, just, you know, that quick, but certainly airplane travel is an issue. But, you know, at the Nation here, we've, Sarah Hill and Mr. Gwynn have, if you see that construction out in front over here where the solar canopy's gonna go, we're trying, I don't know how many slots there are, something like 8 or 10, 12, for electric cars. We've been pushing compressed natural gas vehicles for quite a while. We're trying to do anything that'll keep us off standard combustion engines. And right now, today, you can't go get a solar or even an electric 18-wheeler, but you can get a CNG one. A lot of your municipalities, Tulsa and these bigger cities, their trash trucks are CNG, their buses are CNG, and you know, it's right now it's about half what gas is, plus or minus. But even if it was exactly the same, the emissions from a CNG vehicle are almost negligible. So we're really pushing for that. And you know, you think, well, okay, we're taking a car out of the equation on that. If you look at lawnmowers, they are 20 times what a car would be.
Wow.
So there's a lot of ways we could get around some of this stuff. I used to kid Sarah, and this used to be the case 10 years ago. You want to get electric cars and you're going to plug them into a coal-fired power plant. That doesn't do much good. But if you can get solar cars like this, where they're recharged like this, or if we have another mechanism to recharge those, that's a good deal. And we're getting the efficiencies on those things are getting so much better. I mean, just every year, they're just multiplying in their efficiencies. So we're getting to the point now, you know, Sarah said, I think they're going to get be able to come up with a few electric vehicles, and they're wanting to pass those around to the various departments of the Cherokee Nation so people will drive them, get used to them, and say, you know, next time we buy a vehicle, maybe we can use something like this.
Like they say, every little bit counts.
Absolutely,
And
sir.
I was going to ask you, I know you've been spending some time at the landfill. Can you give us just a little,
I spent quite a bit of time with that.
can you kind of
Absolutely.
update us on that a little bit?
Absolutely. There are challenges at the landfill.
All right.
I think all God's children know that. There are environmental issues there. There are business issues there. I mean, economy issues there. It's difficult to get in the black in that kind of a material. And the reason for that is where we're at, it makes really a good landfill. It's just you have to remove so much overburden. And if you've done any kind of that work, you know, if you have to move rock and stone and dirt around, that costs money. It costs diesel, it costs people time. It costs a lot of money. And that's what really drives the economy at our landfill. I just met with Sarah and Mr. Gwynn and Mr. Clinton in Tulsa with some of our contractors. And so Sarah has been working with our finance group to combine some funding that you all appropriated for that type of thing. And she's putting together, in fact, we're just getting to award stages of it to where we're, the new cell that's coming up, and a long-term plan for the landfill. There was never been a from here to here plan for that landfill. And so what's ended up happening, it's been, years ago, and I'm sorry to tell stories, but 20-some years ago, I applied to work at that landfill. And I am so happy I didn't get that job. But it has went in the Cherokee Nation into a business, into the Cherokee Nation into a business. And it's done it multiple times, not once or twice. It's done it several times. And when that happens, it seems like there's always a financial loss on both ways. Hopefully, right now, it looks as good as I've ever seen it look. Between the four of us, Sarah, me, Pat, and Mr. Clinton, Jamie, we never agree on anything. But what I can say about that is that by the time we palaver back and forth, we usually come up with a pretty good plan on how to implement things. And this, I think, is the most positive tack we've taken on that landfill in 20-some odd years.
Well, I appreciate you from Adair County.
Absolutely.
I feel good that you're there, and got a lot of respect for you.
You know, one of the gentlemen that used to work with us just retired a couple of months ago, and he was such a good, not that he's not, he had to retire and take care of some family issues, but he just, we miss him. And he worked at that landfill, and he kept us surprised of it, and so I'm having to go out there. In fact, I'll be out there tomorrow unless the sky falls.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Tom, we asked Sarah. Sarah's the first person that's come with a plan to finally close that landfill.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate the leadership to have a plan in place. There's some natural springs there at the bottom of that hill, Candy Mink Springs.
And they're a tributary of the Scenic River.
Yes. And it flows down into the creek where I was raised, where we have our baptism. So that tells me if it was a tribal business, whoever put that in the heart of Indian country really didn't know what they were doing. But all they knew is they're going to put it in the heart of Indian country and it'll take care of itself.
Right.
But we're left with it. We're doing a pretty good job.
Absolutely.
Okay. Good report, Tom.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, sir.
Old business, none pending, new business. Ms. Vasquez, I'd like to take that, please.
Certainly.
I think GB has a comment.
Oh.
Buffalo or the dog?
No, I want to invite everybody, hopefully for the resource meeting in October at Bull Holler. Every year we always have it Bull Holler or at Delaney. Been kind of asked to be at Bull Holler this year, and y'all always come, and we got buffalo meat to cook, have buffalo burgers. And the opportunity for the new council members to have a look over Bull Holler and the facilities out there with Buffalo stays. I'd like for you to come up, hopefully have your meeting up there in October, the resource meeting.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Do you have a question?
Yes, does GPS get you there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he'll just drop a pin and you just follow the pin.
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't?
I wish it did.
It's
We
not
had a lot of problems on the trail ride. Everybody dropped a pin on the trail ride and put them up a jug. It's just really hard to get there, and it's real simple once you do it, but
Okay.
wish there's an easy way. We got signs, big signs, I think they're about 3 or 4 foot, when you turn off of Kenwood Road or off the other Blacktop Road. What's that road called? Mike, you might know. Joel?
I'll find it.
Joel, what's that road called? Anyway, it's probably about 6 miles, 5-6 miles north of Little Kansas. It's about 3 miles north. We'll have them.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll run it there.
Thank you.
That'd be good.
I've done that, Raven.
I just have a comment. I think Bruce was going to get a bus and pick us all up, right?
We can do that, if you'd like. Will you bring us back when we're ready to come back? No. We have to stay. Yes.
Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is a resolution authorizing a grant of easement for right-of-way for the renewal of an existing pipeline easement to Phillips 66 Carrier LLC, Chilocco Units 4 and 5, K County, Oklahoma. I move for its approval.
Need a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, September the 11th at 2 p.m. Got a motion, need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Good job, Mr.
I did good. Thank you.